Welcome back once again to another edition of Research Fantasy presents our MLB DFS hitter picks for Saturday, April 22nd, 2017. I am your host, Nick from CWE. We've got a pretty nice slate of hitting on tap for tonight. We've got a lot of matchups that we could really exploit. Let's start things off this evening with Russell Martin of the Toronto Blue Jays going up against Tyler Skaggs of the Los Angeles Angels. Skaggs, not the world's best pitcher. He's probably going to get rattled a little bit here tonight. I know that this is a hitter's park, so it does remove some of the upside, but Russell Martin's finally been seeing things well at the plate again. Skaggs hasn't been horrible this year, but I think he's been bad enough that we can really take a look at him, not allowing a ton of hard contact. But I don't think that's really necessarily Russell Martin's game. I could see him coming through with a well-balanced stat line, something like a double, a single, a run scored, and an RBI. And for a catcher, that's a pretty good day at the plate. For anybody, that's a good day at the plate. His price is pretty solid for what he brings to the table. I especially think that a lot of people are going to focus on the other side of this matchup with Casey Lawrence on the mound for Toronto, but I feel fine with rolling out Russell Martin tonight, 2,600 on FanDuel. Moving on from there, it is really tough to not look at Chris Davis at that $3K price tonight. That is a really absurd price, and granted, Chris Davis is not a great hitter. He is not a guy who is ever going to hit for average, and he's starting to show that if you look at his box scores. I mean, pretty much since the 15th, 0 for 4, 1 for 4, 1 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 1 for 4. He's going to strike out a lot at the plate, but tonight he gets Stephen Wright, and what we know about Stephen Wright in 2017 has not been good. He's allowing just absolutely crazy percentages that I'm almost willing to say should just be ignored at this point, because there's no way he's going to sustain things like 50% hard hit against righties, home run fly ball ratios in the 30s against righties. But Chris Davis is a guy who I could definitely see playing in a tournament at a depressed price. You want to fit cores in, I get it, but when you look at the position and everyone hitting in cores, I guess Mark Reynolds is only 400 more tonight against a lefty who isn't really that good, but with everybody possibly going in that direction, I really do not mind pivoting on to Chris Davis. He's got double dong upside pretty much every time he faces a righty who just can't throw very well. The knuckleballer is one of those things that if it's off, he's going to give up 8 runs in 2 innings like we saw the last time he played the Orioles. Now, here's the important thing to remember here. Stephen Wright, historically against the Orioles before that game, was something like 11 for 91 in terms of how the Orioles hit off of him. So this could definitely be a situation that blows up in your face. But I think this is a situation where I would rather have some exposure to Davis, hope that the struggles of Stephen Wright continue, and that we get to get a cheap long ball into our lineup, and that really helps us in both our cash games and tournaments. Last up tonight, there is no way that we're going to have a game in cores, a left-handed pitcher on the mound, and we are going to not talk about Nolan Arenado. Arenado is a guy that you'd have to assume at one point in his career is going to contend, if not win, an MVP award. We already know that defensively he's basically the best third baseman in the league, and it's not even close. At the plate, he's an absolute monster. Thus far this year, he's hitting for a .333 average with 6 home runs, and most of those have not been in cores, which is the thing that, he always gets a lot of crap over, is that his numbers are inflated because they're in cores. But it looks like he's hit 4 outside of cores, 2 within the confines of Coors Field. Matt Moore, as I said before, not a guy that we're really going to be overly concerned about on the season. 344 WOBA to righties, 41.5% fly ball ratio, 36% hard hit with a 41.5% pull rate. Those are all numbers that really show that Arenado could have high success in this matchup tonight. I just think it's too good to be true. Arenado should be a guy who comes through for you tonight. Going to be our top play of the night. That'll wrap it up for me. Once again, our top 3 hitting options: Russell Martin, Chris Davis, and Nolan Arenado. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Sign up for our MLB mailing list at researchfantasy.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Research and Win, and join us again tomorrow.